It's Jordan Mulligan from the Mulligan Brothers, and today's interview highlight is with Ben Francis, talking about his young life, getting into business, and also the inspiration from his granddad as well. Today's video is sponsored by mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Not a Journal, which is a ironically named success journal, and it's basically about getting stuff done. This is the way I journal, and it's been a massive blessing for me. But anyway, let's jump into the highlights.
So as a kid, what was your mindset like around, I mean, people probably expect you that you was a businessman straight away off the get-go. What was your mindset like as a kid?
No, so when I was young, my thing was I just loved sport, right? I wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to play for Villa. So dad, granddad, great-granddad and beyond all supported Villa. So you sort of, inherit that, don't you, as a I guess, being born into more of a football family. So I just loved football. I think it was when I was like sort of 15, 16, realised I was never going to be a professional. I think by that point, right? Because not in any academy or anything like that. And it was at that point where it was my first my first exposure to business, and that business was my granddad's business. Again, I come from quite an entrepreneurial family as well. And he had a company that would line furnaces with either brick or ceramic fibre. Furnaces, if you don't know, is just a massive, massive oven that heats things up. And yeah, essentially just worked with him, and that was my first exposure, I guess, to business.
What was the grafting like on that?
Honestly, it was really fun. It was really cool. It was more like manual labour, so I didn't have any knowledge, right? So I was either helping him with cement over the drum, or helping him lay bricks, or bolting in ceramic fibre into the furnace itself. So it was more just 8, 9, 10 hours of do as you're told sort of thing. But it was really cool for me. And what was particularly interesting, and now looking back, as I know has helped me quite a lot, was the fact that he would tell me some of his sort of stories in starting his business. Now, it was only a small business, right? He was a bit of a one-man band, or he's a bit of a one-man band. But the lessons that I learned from just chatting to him over those long days of graft were absolutely brilliant.
Go on, give us a story.
So when I first went and worked with him, I don't know how old you are. Is it 14 when you do work experience? It's similar, whatever that first exposure is. Probably it might even be younger than that. We were working in a place called Droitwich, so it was quite in the countryside sort of thing, and we were working in essentially a big factory that basically manufactured parts for aeroplanes. And he told me the story about. I think I asked him what was his biggest job that he ever did. And he told me about a furnace that I think he had to build for a company in Germany. And he explained to me that basically to fund that project, because obviously they don't pay him until the work was done, he had to remortgage the house. So he basically, at that time he had obviously my nan and my mum and her sister, young kids growing up. And he remortgaged his house. He basically managed to finish the project, and then he was shipping it off to Germany. And basically on the last sort of week, something went wrong to the point where he had to basically ship the stuff off to Germany, and I think there was something missing. There was something that just wasn't quite working for it. And he basically had to rely on this other company to say, do you know what, yes, this is good enough, and pay him the money. And if that company would have said no, then he could well have lost the house. So for me to hear that story of his sort of entrepreneurial journey and how he risked everything from his house to my nan's house to the house that my mum grew up in, that at a young age, I think it really sort of helped me understand the risks that entrepreneurs take, but also, I guess, desensitised me to risk in some respects, because then when a few years later on, I was giving up all of my life savings at the time to invest into Gymshark, my risk in comparison to his is like minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just risking the money I earned from pizza. He was risking potentially the house that my mum grew up in. So I think that made a real lasting impact on me.
I really want to touch on the risk aspect of it and how you was willing to take the risk, and definitely going to touch on that. Whenabouts did you start getting into the gym?
So I joined the gym for the first time when I was 16. It took me a while to get into it, to be honest, because you guys, right, you lift. When you first go to the gym, you've got no clue what you're doing. So I went to the local gym, got into weightlifting, didn't really do free weights because the free weights was full of, I guess, huge blokes, and I just didn't feel like I fit in there, because as a kid I was very skinny, and the reason that I joined the gym was to build muscle and get a bit bigger and eventually build confidence. So yeah, got into the gym at 16 and started lifting weights there. I had no idea what I was doing, and it wasn't until a few years later that I actually realised that, you know, everyone else had their own sort of insecurities individually as well. So whereas I was going into the gym thinking, oh God, everyone's looking at me, I don't know what I'm doing. Funnily enough, the other sort of lads at the same age that had joined the gym, none of which were speaking to each other, or I wasn't speaking to them, were all having the same sort of insecurities. But yeah, to be honest, I joined the gym at 16, and since then I've never looked back.
Did he develop some sort of discipline going to the gym and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so at that time I was not very good at school. So not as in misbehaved, I think I was quite well behaved, but it just didn't resonate with me. I didn't enjoy it, and I basically wasn't getting the grades that I should have got. And then when I went to the gym and I realised that if I turn up 5 days a week and I do the routine that I downloaded from, you know, online, then within a year I would be in a better position than when I left off. And that was the first real structure that I'd sort of self-imposed on myself. And then all of a sudden, about 6-12 months later, once I'd truly understood the gym and loved the gym, I then applied that to my school life and, you know, my academic life and to learning. And all of a sudden, after applying that to the other side of my life, all of a sudden my grades just started to rise rapidly, and the gym completely changed my life.
So, correct me if I'm wrong with the timings, but then you go to uni, and whilst you're at uni, you start developing apps, websites, and is that the right timings of it all?
Yes, yeah, so I went to uni, is it 17, 18? Went to uni at Aston in Birmingham, which was great for me because it wasn't far from home. And it's a very entrepreneurial uni. But yeah, at that point, so going back to when I was at school, during my GCSE, so up to the age of 16, wasn't very good at school. I was really, really fortunate where, despite not getting brilliant grades, the school allowed me to stay on through sixth form, which is from 17 to 18, I think. And then during sixth form, I picked up an IT class, and that was the class that changed my life, because all of a sudden I learned how to use Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, build websites, and that's where I really got the bug for IT and tech. It was then after that, when I joined university, I wanted to essentially develop iPhone apps just because I was fascinated by them. I thought they were cool, and to be honest, there was no one else that was doing it in my area at the time. So yeah, taught myself how to develop apps from books and YouTube videos and whatnot, and developed 4 iPhone apps, 2 of which got into the top charts in the UK. They were both fitness apps. Probably weren't in the charts because they were good, but probably more in the charts because no one else was really doing them. But yeah, for me, that was again an amazing learning curve.
And I think some people think that you stumbled across Gymshark, but you was having a go at other businesses as well. So
yeah, I developed 4 iPhone apps, and then I think it was 6 or 7 websites prior to Gymshark. So yeah, I think inherently I'm quite a creative person. Like even now outside of work, I love just messing around with different things. And at the time, it was just a case of I'm going to make this app, and then this app, and then this app, and then this website, and I just really enjoyed making them. And because I was so into the gym, I guess I just wanted to be involved in the fitness industry, however that made sense. So when I was making apps, rather than just making any old app, I'd combine that with my passion for fitness and make fitness apps, and then try and make fitness websites. And I was messing around trying to make like a fitness social media platform, a fitness sort of forum similar to like bodybuilding.com at the time, like a fitness article page and a blog. It was just a combination of me creating, using the new, tools that I had, web development and app development, creating for my passion that was fitness.
Guys, another great wisdom piece from Ben Francis, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, and one of my favorite people that I met last year, and he's helped me tremendously. And yeah, today's video is sponsored by mulliganbrothers.com, where you can help support our projects and this movement by buying books like the Not a Journal book, which is basically a success journal, but it's just a success journal done simply. It's about getting shit done and taking notes, taking names, and crossing tasks off. Taking names? I don't know why I said that, but basically taking souls. It's about getting the job done, and for me it's been a massive help. And yeah, helping supporters with buying the t-shirts from the website, the books and all that kind of stuff is basically allowing us to be able to make films, documentaries, and we are going to become the biggest documentary producers in the world. That is our goal as a company, to help inspire change around the world, and it's thanks to you. So thank you. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Jordan Mulligan Brother. And I'll leave it there, guys. Have a blessed and productive day. Go smash some goals. Go inspire some change. Use some of this inspiration. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.